Road 96 is an independent work that attempts to use the special components of the adventure style to tell a fascinating and influential story from the heart of a road story. Has he succeeded in doing so?
Hey there. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
The game Road 96 is one of the standalone works of 2021, with the development process taking place at HIGHER.T Studios. The game is a 7 to 8 hour adventure-style work whose story content, narrative type and high detail in its gameplay, story skeleton make it one of this year's most fascinating and potentially independent works. Stay with Samji to take a look at the $20 effect in this review and see if he's been able to use all his potential well. The story of the 1996 road game. It's flowing. The story of the game is a road narrative in which we have to control a few completely unnamed youths and try to get out of Petria. Petria is a beautiful land with warm and loving-blooded peoples that has become a place where life becomes harder and harder every day under a personal autocratic rule called Iraq. The ruling dictatorship, systemic corruption in the government, spreading false news in the mass media, and rooting out poverty in people's lives have made young people living in Petria decide to save their future, leave the country, an action that is never that simple and can only be done in one way or another: reaching and crossing Route 96.
Be careful with what you eat. Try to avoid True. Now, let me get back.
Throughout the game, we control different characters, each of which is completely unnamed and can't see their faces. The success and failure of these characters in leaving Petria completely depends on the decisions of the gamer, whether the player succeeds in reaching the 96th road and leaving the country or not, or gets caught on the track, gets caught, or thousands more disasters come to his head and his story ends. Petria's young, teenage community has become a hero, protagonist for the game, an admirable move from the production team with. It is a game to draw and receive these people's efforts to leave the country and their concerns for building their future. Crossing Route 96, however, is not that simple, and along the way, several characters are placed in the path of the gamer, characters that each have their own story and make different adventures for the gamer. The most important aspect of Road 96 gameplay is the interaction with characters and moving the story path forward. Petria is like a village where people know each other. The story of the game has 7 complementary characters whose story is completed. Each round when you start the game with a new character, you will encounter these characters on your way to Route 96, and depending on the choices you make, you will advance the story and see their story complete and their relationship with you, perhaps worsening. Pay. A lot of these characters are really great, paying some of them isn't good at all. Thanks to good storytelling and high-quality scenario writing of stages, communication with each of these characters is always new, and getting along with each of them is synonymous with participating in a new adventure that never loses its energy until the last minute of the game story. But paying a series of these characters doesn't have a definition either, and it disappoints you. Unfortunately, not all characters pay as well as they should. Some are one-dimensional, and a series of game openings are also extremely hasty, raw and hopeless, so that without any proper payment and proper preparation, we are suddenly witnessing a series of openings that show the author's laziness in better pay. The characters in the game have been able to create that sense of adventure and travel in the gamer, but you should never expect all of them to make great and understandable payments. Energy management, financial resource management and decision-making ability, especially decision-making in difficult and critical situations, form gameplay ossification. The player has an endurance bar that is filled with things like resting, eating, drinking water, and more. But you have to be aware that, for example, sleeping in an unsafe place increases the likelihood of encountering bandits. Eating poison food is likely to endanger your personality, and things like that challenge your decision-making power. Apart from that, you have to be careful how you're going to travel to Route 96. Traveling to the northern borders of Petria is not the form of a cloth, and you have to do it in different ways. For example, walk part of the route, which consumes a lot of energy, take part by bus, take a part by taxi, travel part by car you stole, and so on, each of which has its own advantages and disadvantages, and challenges your decision-making/management power. When choosing the best way to travel on the map, you should check at the same time how much energy is consumed and the risks that may arise on the way. For example, at the time of taking a taxi, there is a risk that you will hit the post of the infamous Petria taxi serial killer and be challenged.
There is a possibility of death at any moment of the game. When your character dies, the game is over for him and a new episode begins with a new character.
You should be aware that you don't go down a path to Petria bandits. With each of these things you'll encounter, you'll need to choose the dialogues so well and manage the situation so that your character's health isn't compromised. The route to Route 96 is made up of all these challenges, which will bring you closer to being freed and out of Petria. It's the middle, but there's a big problem. Moving to the northern borders of Petria, facing different challenges, choosing the best routes, best dialogues and rejecting challenges, brings to life a wonderful feeling of adventure, existence and living in Petria and being experienced in gamers. But do you know where the problem is? The problem is that the game tries to create an illusion of discretion in the gamer's mind with these big and small challenges that lead to the final stage, Route 96 and exit, and, incidentally, is quite successful in this. But in the final moments and precisely when the gamer's discretion and choice is necessary for the basic conclusion and end of the story, the player realizes that all those decisions and challenges, none of which had such an impact on the three main ends of the game, the illusion of discretion created for the gamer during the gamer experience, at the expense of losing all those decisions and hours of time and watering the tree whose fruit is the disappointment of the gamer. The case we discussed is not good at all for a work of adventure where gameplay and story are intertwined. The experience of Road 96 and those wonderful, calculated and truly diverse positions in the first two-thirds of the game are really engaging, fun, things that have worked great and make the sense of travel really alive in the gamer. But when the player reaches the end of the line, when he sees that all the decisions he made on the track now had no special meaning or effect and were embedded solely in order to create a sense of travel and illusion of discretion on the track, it disappoints the gamer at exactly the moment the gamer has to record himself in the gamer's mind as a delicious and excellent work. Playing in the discussion of sound and visual effects provides a great and low-flawed experience for gamers. First we go to music. About half of the mood of travel and adventure that you will feel while playing Road 96 is all transmitted to you through the music of this work. Composing is a really great and high-quality game done. The relaxing music of this work is one of the things that will make its way to your playlist right after the game is finished. Listen to this music right now so you know what high-quality work we're talking about. In the sounding section, we also see the very good performance of the Road 96 dubbing team, which has contributed greatly to the credibility of events and drowning in the world of the work. From the perspective of visual effects, the game is truly eye-catching and beautiful. Despite the excellent art effects of Road 96, there are a series of problems in the technical sector. The biggest technical problem of the game goes back to the selection system of dialogues. The badness of its dialogue selection system is not acceptable at all for a work in which dialogue selection is the most important and fundamental component of gameplay. Road 96 is a high-quality and problematic work that I recommend you to experience. Why? Road 96 is so great and exemplary in its first two-thirds that it comes with characters, tales, unpredictable events, challenges of endurance management for travel, managing different ways to get to the destination, bus use, car theft, taxi use, walking and more. And managing the challenges that may determine your life or death will give you a sweet experience of a road trip. It's a pity that all these positive qualities resulting from hours of hard work by the HIGHER.T team, in the final third of the game, with things like ignoring the gamer's decisions during the experience of the work and a series of crude openings, the hasty and hopeless storyline, along with some characters that don't pay well in the rest of the characters at all, lose color at the end. With all that, however, if you're stuttering with a variety of characters and challenges for a road adventure, Road 96 is definitely capable of entertaining you.